The United States of America, USA, commonly known as the United States, US, or simply America, is a country primarily located in North America and consisting of 50 states, a federal district, 5 major unincorporated territories, and 9 minor outlying islands. It includes 326 Indian reservations. It is the world's third largest country by both land and total area. It shares land borders with Canada to its north and with Mexico to its south, and has maritime borders with the Bahamas, Cuba, Russia, and other nations. With a population of over 333 million, it is the most populous country in the Americas and the third most populous in the world. The national capital of the United States is Washington, D.C., and its most populous city and principal financial center is New York City. Indigenous peoples have inhabited the Americas for thousands of years. Beginning in 1607, British colonization led to the establishment of the 13 colonies in what is now the eastern United States. They clashed with the British Crown over taxation and political representation, which led to the American Revolution and the ensuing Revolutionary War. The United States declared independence on July 4, 1776, becoming the first nation-state founded on Enlightenment principles of unalienable natural rights, consent of the governed, and liberal democracy. The country began expanding across North America, spanning the continent by 1848. Sectional division over slavery, primarily of Africans, led to the secession of the Confederate States of America, which fought the remaining states of the Union during the American Civil War, 1861 to 1865. With the Union's victory and preservation, slavery was abolished nationally. However, racial discrimination and inequality continued into subsequent centuries. By 1900, the United States had established itself as a great power, becoming the world's largest economy. After Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, the U.S. entered World War II on the side of the Allies. The aftermath of the war left the United States and the Soviet Union as the world's two superpowers and led to the Cold War, during which both countries engaged in a struggle for ideological dominance and international influence but avoided direct military conflict. During the space race, the United States landed the first humans on the Moon, notably with the Apollo 11 mission in 1969. Following the Soviet Union's collapse and the end of the Cold War, the United States emerged as the world's sole superpower. The United States government is a federal presidential constitutional republic and liberal democracy with 3 separate branches of government: executive, legislative, and judicial. It has a bicameral national legislature composed of the House of Representatives, a lower house based on population, and the Senate, an upper house based on equal representation for each state. Many policy issues are decentralized at a state or local level, with widely differing laws by jurisdiction which may not conflict with the Constitution. 26-27. The U.S. ranks very highly in international measures of quality of life, income and wealth, economic competitiveness, human rights, innovation, and education. It has low levels of perceived corruption. It has higher levels of incarceration and inequality than most other liberal democracies and is the only liberal democracy without universal healthcare. As a melting pot of cultures and ethnicities, the U.S. has been extensively shaped by the world's largest immigrant population. Highly developed, the U.S. has by far the largest amount of wealth of any country. The American economy accounts for approximately a quarter of global GDP and is the world's largest by nominal GDP. The U.S. is the world's largest importer and second largest exporter, as well as the largest consumer market. It is a founding member of the United Nations, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the Organization of American States, NATO and WHO, and is a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. It is the world's foremost political, cultural, economic, military, and scientific power. Indigenous peoples. Further information: Native Americans in the United States and pre-Columbian era. The first inhabitants of North America migrated from Siberia across the Bering Land Bridge at least 12,000 years ago. Some evidence suggests an even earlier date of arrival. The Clovis culture, which appeared around, is believed to represent the first widespread culture in the Americas. The Clovis culture was replaced by several more localized regional societies from the Younger Dryas cold climate period onward. Over time, indigenous cultures in North America grew increasingly sophisticated, and some, such as the pre-Columbian Mississippian culture in the southeast, developed advanced agriculture, architecture, and complex societies. The city-state of Cahokia was the largest, most complex pre-Columbian archaeological site in present-day United States. In the Four Corners region in present-day southwestern United States, the culture of ancestral Puebloans developed over centuries of agricultural experimentation. The Algonquian were historically prominent along the Atlantic coast and in the St. Lawrence River and Great Lakes regions. Before European immigrants made contact, most of the Algonquian relied on hunting and fishing, and many supplemented their diet by cultivating corn, beans, and squash, known as the Three Sisters. By the time of European contact in the 17th century, they practiced slash-and-burn agriculture, using controlled fire to extend farmland's productivity and manage land. The Ojibwe cultivated wild rice. The Iroquois Confederation Haudenosaunee, located in the southern Great Lakes region, was established between the 12th and 15th centuries. Native population estimates before the arrival of European immigrants range from around to nearly 10 million. The colonization of North America did not extend much beyond Greenland until the Age of Exploration. The Norse colonization of North America in the 11th century was short-lived. Christopher Columbus began exploring the Caribbean in 1492, and Spain soon established Spanish Florida on the mainland. British colonization of the East Coast began with the Virginia colony and Plymouth colony. Many English settlers were dissenting Christians who fled England seeking religious freedom. The Mayflower Compact and the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut established precedents for representative self-government and constitutionalism that would develop throughout the American colonies. During 17th-century European colonization, settlers experienced food shortages, disease, and conflicts with Native Americans, particularly in King Philip's War, but often came to develop a mutual dependency. Settlers traded guns, tools, and European goods for food and animal pelts. Native Americans taught settlers to cultivate local foods. European missionaries and others attempted to civilize the Native Americans and urged them to adopt lifestyles. The native population of America declined after European arrival, primarily as a result of infectious diseases such as smallpox and measles, and native peoples were displaced by European expansion. European settlers trafficked African slaves into the colonial United States via the transatlantic slave trade. By the turn of the 18th century, slavery supplanted indentured servitude as the main source of agricultural labor for the cash crops in the southern colonies. Southern tobacco colonies passed laws designed to keep African Americans subservient.